What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla stock and what you should be watching for as time progresses. I'm also going to give you guys a quick update on how Tesla's share price is looking alongside the price action of the overall market. Before I break anything down, all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. This offer ends in just 11 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the market and Tesla. So, looking at Tesla, we had a very interesting day. In the morning, we saw Tesla attempts to bounce. We got this nice push to the upside. But I warned everyone that if you wanted to turn bullish on Tesla, you wanted to see it break and hold 225. Instead, we failed to hold this. We came up rejected, came right back down, and Tesla ended up failing from there. So I warned everyone that Tesla may pump and dump today, and I thought that the market could follow this trend. This pump and dump was not that strong on SPY and the other tickers out there. They did drop a little bit towards the end of the day, but it wasn't that crazy compared to Tesla. Tesla is the one that dropped a little bit harder, just barely closing at 220 and starting to look a little bit weaker as I'm starting to anticipate a pullback coming very soon to the stock. So I'm going to break down why that is and what other factors could end up affecting it. But first, let's talk about the news and stuff like that. So for the markets, I just wanted to call out that there's nothing really going on Monday except for a Fed speaker. Same thing on Tuesday, but we have some economic optimism coming out. That's just some important data about consumer sentiment. But then for Wednesday, we have Jerome Powell giving another speech. So we'll see if Jerome Powell causes a pump or not this time around. It's very probable he might help the market. So we'll just have to wait and see. So that's going to happen for the first couple of days of the week. And then for Monday, we have Berkshire Hathaway's earnings that could affect the market before the market opens. So when it comes to Tesla, okay, if Berkshire causes one last pump, we could see a little pop on Tesla before this thing starts to decline, in my opinion, and also for the whole market. Or the market may not get much of a pump. Maybe it won't affect the market that much and we just decline from here. Either way, I see a decline coming, and I think Tesla either pops and drops or just drops from here. I think SPY, Nvda, and all these different stocks will follow that trend. So I'm going to break those down in just a few minutes. Let's go over some more things about Tesla. Tesla has some overweight ratings, which is quite good, but I just want to note the price price ratio is still down here. It may have declined a bit today, even though it doesn't show it right here. It still did because of the fact that Tesla lost some strength. We saw Tesla sell off a bit more than the market, and Tesla ended up closing weaker than SPY today, which is not the best of signs for the bulls. That is signaling that there's a potential move to the downside coming, especially when you look at the daily on Tesla, looking a little bit weaker on the daily time frame. So I do anticipate some downside. We're going to be watching some critical supports around 212. If Tesla declines to 212 and we lose it, I anticipate this gap is going to fill and we could see a decline to 205. If we manage to hold above 212, we could see this thing try to hold up, but we're going to be watching that going into next week. Now, on top of this, data is showing that seasonality suggests Mondays tend to be a little bit better. I'm not as confident about that as we're going to wait. And then volume was not that bad at 119 million. But one thing that could cause Tesla to sell off a bit would be the new news coming out about Tesla potentially being unionized. I mean, if that's the case, things could change for it. It could have a big effect on Tesla, but we'll just have to wait and see as time goes on. So going back, I just want to mention that there's some news that came out that the Swedish dock workers threatened to block Tesla deliveries, and they claim that Tesla isn't following the Swedish labor law. Now, this is very contentious. I'm not saying it's true or not. This is just their claim, and this is going to affect how Tesla moves going forward. So going down here, you can see that many of the spokespeople from the Swedish labor market, or I'm sorry, from the IF Metal, I believe that's what the union is going to be called. Many of them have been saying that Tesla's not necessarily doing the best for its own employees. And some of them have stated that they would like their members working at Tesla to have the same benefits as basically everyone else in similar industries and also in the Swedish labor market. They also mentioned that if you look at this right here, that the repair workers at Tesla in Sweden earn less and they lack the similar pensions and insurance programs when compared to other mechanics. And they claim that other things are just not as great for their employees. So they're demanding big changes. So whether they're correct or not depends on interpretations and such, and that's going to be up to a court to decide. And also, it depends on if this does end up, continuing to grow. We'll see if this goes to the courts, and we'll see what this causes. So we'll just have to wait and see. But for now, it could still affect Tesla. So we're going to be very patient and see if this develops into something bigger. The UAW also has Tesla on its radar. They could be doing something very different as time goes on. The news has been saying that so far, down here, the UAW has not been able to establish enough support to force, these votes just against Tesla's facilities, especially in the Fremont Gigafactory area. They've been working towards it, but they're not really ready yet. So this isn't completely confirmed, but they're trying, and they may do something very different for their ability to unionize Tesla. If that's the case, it's not going to be the best. This could have a negative effect on Tesla's share price. So you just want to be very careful with this. This could have a negative effect on Tesla's output, excuse me, if Tesla continues to be impacted by this and if workers continue to join. So we'll have to wait and see how this affects Tesla as a whole, and we'll see what happens with this moving forward. If there are any new developments, this is going to be kind of negative for them. At the Giga 4, Elon Musk has thanked all the employees. He was actually there not too long ago. He put this on his Twitter page too. He also tweeted that the Tesla team is awesome, take pride in working hard, build great products, and they're basically very, very good hearted people. So good stuff from Elon Musk. It's very good that he's giving his employees credit. So, I have nothing but, praise for that. I have praise for the entire Tesla team. I know working at Tesla can be very demanding. Tesla is very ambitious, has big goals, and it could be very difficult. But once again, guys, with this going on, we will see what happens in the future for Tesla, and if their workers end up joining a union or something like that happens. But whatever happens, I'm still a big bull on Tesla. I still believe Tesla will ultimately fill this gap up here to this higher level into the 240s. Before that happens, we might see some downsides, so just be prepared for that. I just wanted to warn you about that. So we're going to be watching these levels. Look for a little pop and drop, or maybe a drop from here, depending on what happens with Berkshire Hathaway's earnings. For SPY, I'm going to be kind of quick right now. I know the weekend is coming up and people just want to get on with it. So for SPY, this could pop one more time to 438, then reject, depending on Berkshire Hathaway, or off the bearish divergence that happened intraday. We could just see this drop from here, whether it pops and drops or if it just drops from here. If SPY loses 433, I anticipate the gap to get filled down to 430.5. So I could see a decline coming. Either a pop and drop or a drop from here is very, very probable. Same exact thing on the QQQ. I either see this thing retesting 370, then rejecting and coming back down towards this gap fill all the way down here in the 364 area, or this thing could just sink from here off the bearish divergence and just come down to fill the gap, depending on what happens on Monday with Berkshire. So look for a little pop and drop or a drop from here, and I anticipate some downside being imminent. Aapl may pump a little bit more. I can see a little pump coming to Aapl to try to finish filling this gap, and then a rejection off 178 as we have some tight resistance here. And this could lead to Aapl selling off as time goes on. So I see a potential pullback for that as well. And then don't forget, SPY was pumping. I just want to call this out. SPY was pumping for 5 straight days in a row like crazy, so it is due for a cool off very soon. A little pop and drop is still probable. Same thing on Aapl. It was pumping very hard approaching its earnings. It's going to pump a little bit more, but there's some resistance at 178 that could slow it down. So look for 178 in a drop and other things like that. For Nvda, this is going to be the last one I talk about before I ended the video. Nvidia could technically reject here and come down to 444 and then start sinking. It is technically possible, but we're on a nice trend right now. We have a nice accumulation, and the full measured move is not in yet. So it really depends on what happens with the news in the morning and how Berkshire ends up affecting it. It could pop one last time to this like 458 to 460 area to fill this imbalance and then reject and come back down and start filling these gaps down here. It's going to likely come back to like the 440s if we do end up hitting that level. So a little pop and drop is possible on Nvidia, but if it fails to get that pop, right, it really depends on different factors. If we fail to get that pop, it could just decline from here and just come straight down to the 440s. It has to be one of those two. So watch 444 very carefully. If we lose this, watch 438. I'm thinking it either pops one last time and then drops back down to this level, or it fails to get a pop and it just drops. Either way, there's going to be an opportunity to make money on Nvidia. There's going to be opportunity all the time, and there's likely downside coming whether we get a pop and drop or if we just drop from here. All right. So we'll see what happens with Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway on Monday. We'll be waiting for that very carefully, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to keep this video very short, guys. So I'll see you guys very soon. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and peace out.